Hello, welcome into this mystery reading. My name is Molly. I am the Quantum Leap Queen. Thank you for joining me on today's reading. These readings are timeless. They're here for you to access whenever you need some nourishment. So trust that if you picked on this reading, there is a message here for you. I'm going to set the intention right off the bat to give you the best messages that you need to hear today. And I'm going to start with the tarot. And I am putting your energy into these cards so we can get some info for you. Okay. I'm using the Pulp Tarot to start. What are we talking about today with this group? What does this group need to discuss today? What are we looking at? I have the Fool and the Ace of Wands. Ooh, you are taking your magic and you are running with it. Ooh, nice. Nice. I like that. What else? What else is this group up to? Oh, okay. We got the Ace of Cups and the Six of Swords. Okay. You guys have been to some dark places inside your emotions. Yeah, I just feel like this group has been through a lot emotionally, or you've gone to like the depths of your emotions. You've sat in a lot of emotions, been in like very uncomfortable, unknown places in the past. Perhaps now too. But I just see that you guys really have been through a lot within yourself. I have the Magician and the Four of Cups. So, yeah, I think it was from these moments of the darkness within yourself, like the emotional darkness, that have allowed you to become the person that you are today, which is the Magician. That's what I see deeply. You've spent so much time learning your own emotional depths that now you're able to use those depths, use that root system that you created to now create literal magic. That's what I see. This is a magical group. This is a group of magicians. I see that. What else? What else does this group need to know? I have the Seven of Pentacles. I have the Ace of Swords and the Hermit. Yeah, you've gone through some really tough life lessons when it comes to really investing in something and then having it fall apart, and learning how to change your mindset. Like, you really went through some deep dives when it comes to looking at what you believed in the past, what got you into these situations of, let's say, it's giving so much to something and then it just not panning out. It just didn't pan out. And yeah, so you've learned a lot when it comes to your mindset. And I think you've spent a really good chunk of time alone looking at yourself, perhaps doing that tough shadow work of looking at your perspectives and being willing to go into them. Why do you believe certain things? And then you've also changed a lot of how you see yourself, how you see life. You're feeling much more aligned now than you were in the past. That's what I feel. But you're also the one that's done the work, you know. I think you've done a lot of work on yourself to get to this point of the Magician energy. So let me ask what more I can tell you. What other advice there is? Anything that wants to be known from Spirit, from Source to tell you? Really from just the bigger you. What advice is there for this group? What do they need to know? I have the Empress and the Knight of Wands. Ooh. Ooh, this could have been talking about a relationship from the past, where you were with someone that's kind of that Knight of Wands energy, someone that was kind of fast and furious, let's say, at least in their decision making, or there's a recklessness, let's say, to this person. Not a super long-term thinker, that's what I'm getting. They're just kind of like short-term gratification type energy. And you coming out as the Empress, self-explanatory there, but just someone that really knows her worth, or has gotten to know herself and her worth through your own life experiences. And that's kind of where I think you're sitting now, is in that energy of worth, fertility, magic, femininity. Even if you're a guy, like, it's really important that we all have a mastery of our masculine and feminine energy. So that's where I feel like you're at. You're fine. You're in no rush. Like, you're in no rush. You're just chillin'. Chillin'. And you're not trying to prove yourself anymore. That's what I hear as well. I think you were really trying to prove your worth to whoever this was. And they just couldn't see it at the end of the day, because obviously they're running away from themselves. So, yeah, something about that. That's what I see. What more? What more for this group? I have the Queen of Wands. Yeah. Yeah, I think this past connection we were just talking about is the Devil's out too. I think that's talking about the relationship. It was this codependent relationship, but it brought you into more of your magic and more of your queenness. I don't know how else to say, but truly it's made you more of a seer, of a magic creator. So you kind of had to go through this, and you had to look at your own codependency when it came to the validation of other people. It definitely could have been that investment we were looking at, was the investment in this relationship, giving so much to a person and just them not reciprocating. It taught you a lot about yourself and what you're truly like still searching for. And I'm getting that it awoke you. It awoke the witch in you. Like, it awoke the magic in you. Yeah, so that's what I feel. Give me one sec. So yes, as I was saying, I really think that because of what you poured in to this relationship, this is like, you were literally reborn. You went through like a death and rebirth process. That's how I see it. And I think you're so much wiser now when it comes to your energy, who you spend time with, what you're doing with your time and your energy. You're just a lot more, you have more boundaries. You're more sure of yourself. You know who you are now. But it's because of the deep work, Nine of Swords at the top of the deck. It's because of the absolute nightmare that you went through. It was your own personal nightmare. Yeah. But you didn't peel over. You didn't peel over and let it consume you. I mean, you went through your healing as anyone would, or your grief process, but you didn't let it keep you down. You alchemized it, and now you're getting the reward of that, because now you're literally different. You're showing up different. Your energy is different. Let me see what else I can tell you. The Seven of Wands, the Two of Pentacles. Yeah. I think you were with, it keeps telling me about this relationship, but I think you were with someone that wanted you to be below them, like saw you as below them, like they wanted to be on top. And you're such a like grounded individual that you wanted more equality. You didn't want to be below this person. That makes sense. Like, you didn't want to be the submissive one, we'll say. because they had this kind of like dictator, like I'm better than you, or like I don't know, it was something like that energy that they had, because they're only it's tied to the wounded masculine, um, thinking that they need to dominate in order to have power, but really their power comes from within themselves, and just like all of us, it's this realization that we are equal with everything around us because we're all made from stars, we're all made from the same stuff, and that's where you were coming from. So I think it just clashed with this person because they wanted you to be a certain way. You weren't budging. You weren't going to be what they wanted you to be. So it just didn't work out in that regard. There definitely could have been like some infidelity or some kind of promiscuousness on their end because they were trying to look for that ego stroking and you weren't giving them the ego stroking that they were desiring, so they looked elsewhere for it, and that's obviously not on you, that's a them thing. So you just learned a lot. You just learned a lot going through this relationship. Let me ask if there is anything more we need to talk about. I think you spent a lot of time thinking about like why was I not enough for this person? Why was I not enough? But I think what is being realized is this person doesn't even know what they want because they don't know themselves. So they're looking at all of these other options available because they're all very surface level, and they don't have to go deep within themselves. They just keep playing that surface game of the ego. And so you're literally in your own lane. You are your own sovereign individual, and you really are the whole package because you are strong and secure within yourself, and you've done a lot of work in order to get to this point where you feel strong in masculine and feminine energy that we all hold. But you've kind of had a mastery of that, or slash are working on that, let's say. But you've had this realization of, I got me at the end of the day. And that's the most important thing, I think, for all of us to be learning, is that we are our own everything. Truthfully, we are everything. So you've done the work to bridge that connection with yourself to the nth degree, is what I'm feeling. Like you've really taken the deceiving, the hurt, the mind games that this person would play, and you've really looked at that. Maybe you still don't understand it. Maybe you're still angry even at them. But at least you've realized you've created that separation between that their kind of chaos and the way that you live. Because, I mean, look at this energy. Very chaotic between the Seven of Swords and the Seven of Cups. This is them. And then the Page of Cups is just more straightforward and peaceful. And that's where I feel like you thrive, and you've always thrived. So being around so much chaos threw you off balance, which was great actually, because then you had the journey back to yourself and you got to learn so much more about who you are and what you're capable of. So this person is more, I don't know if they wanted the worst for you, or they wanted some kind of like, it's the ego thing of like, I need to one up you, or I need to win. And you're not even playing that game. Because you just want to be, it's like, can't we all be solid and secure and get along? I don't know why there needs to be drama. I don't know why you need to be searching for yourself and other women or men, or that's their journey. That's literally their journey. That's their choice. And yours is different. Yours is different. Okay, let me just ask if there's Anything else from the tarot before we move on to some oracle messages for you? The Four of Pentacles and the Three of Swords, yeah. I think part of you is still healing from this betrayal or this heartbreak. But I think you will eventually find that forgiveness, it takes time. It takes so much time. It takes longer than you think, at least in my experience. And it's so layered. But as well, I think that heartbreak is actually going to, like, that the person you were dating or whoever this is about, they are not going to be able to really let it go. And I feel like they are actually going to be in that energy of always kind of feeling like hurt from it, even though you probably won't see that underneath the surface. They are still going to be feeling not great from the heartache itself. I think because it highlights like their own, where they're failing, let's say, within themselves, or where they still have work to do, or where they're there's a lot of self-hatred, I think, with this person, and their own darkness. So, just how things turned out, how everything went down, they could still have a negative viewpoint of it for quite some time, and themselves not able to forgive, and they're not able to forgive themselves. And that's why there is self-hatred and all of that so deeply embedded. And yet that's their choice, because they're choosing not to look at themselves or to do some actual deeper work like you've been doing. So that's what I feel. Let's pull some oracle cards now. I am going to pull from this Astro deck, and let me ask what you guys need to hear most from the astrology about where you're at. Ooh, Lilith. Ooh, nice. I love that she's out. Lilith says power, activism, vengeance. The story of Lilith. She was Adam's first wife. Before Eve, actually, there was Lilith, and basically Adam wanted to dominate her, and she didn't want that. She wanted more equality, and because she didn't go along with his domination plans, she was kicked out of the Garden of Eden and banished. And then they made Eve from Adam's rib, and then she was the one that was more submissive, right? So she's kind of the original witch, or the original true divine feminine that is grounded in her masculine and feminine, and doesn't get walked over by the wounded masculine. Which is funny, because I feel like that's your story. So Lilith is working with you deeply right now, and I just want to say that Lilith literally is the middle point of the masculine and feminine. She's that representative point, and actually that point is something that we are all striving for, even though a lot of men don't realize that. It's because of conditioning, the patriarchy, and all of that. They think that domination is what makes you a man. It's very much not. It makes you a wounded man. And so that's what I see you've been working with, is the energy of Lilith, or she's working with you, or that's how it's working. Let me ask what else from this deck. I have Mars. So Mars, competition, action, and willpower. I think you can use like the Lilith energy and just like your sovereignty, being sovereign, to create. I think you're going to be creating stuff, or maybe you feel this, like you are wanting to create things. Because Mars is action. It is masculine energy too. But really what I'm getting is, yeah, it says competition, action, willpower, but there is no competition. Like, it's literally just you're wanting to create from a place of wholeness. I think that's what that's saying. And however that looks for you in your life, but definitely some kind of, you're bringing from the spiritual into the physical world, your visions, your ideas, your downloads. Let me ask if there's anything else from this deck that wants to come out before we move on. 5, 4. Oh, okay. Opposition, resistance, struggle, polarity. It's because of how much opposition you have been in energetically that allows you to be where you're at now, which is the mastery of both energies of the opposition. Let's say it is the masculine, feminine, and then you found that bridge between them. That's how I feel. This is a group, again, that has done a lot of work on yourselves. So I'm going to leave that for the astro. And then let's move to this animal oracle. So what is the best message for this group from this deck? What do they need to hear? Oh, okay, I guess we have 2 cards. It says you are what you think. And then also no expectations. Ooh, I love that. I actually love this combo because, again, it's that opposition. Like, look at the colors in these cards. We have total flamboyant, colorful, this side, and then we have the darkness on this side. So it's the combo, and it's also the, I don't want to say contradiction, but it is that opposition. So you are what you think and no expectations. I think one thing you've been really mastering is your mindset. And I'm specifically hearing your vibration. Like, my heart is amplifying right now, and it's making me think like you're more in that energy of gratitude, like looking around you, and just, I feel like from day to day you actually feel grateful for yourself, your life. Like, on average, I would say that you feel good about where you're at. The thing they're asking you to pay attention to even more is your thoughts, what you're thinking about. And maybe you have been doing this, but this is just a reminder for some people here to really pay attention to how you speak to yourself and the narrative that you're creating about your life, because we literally are creating the meaning to everything. That is our magic that we put into into the matrix to create our realities. So that's what you're doing. So it's saying, like, be your own storyteller. Make sure you're telling the story that you want to come to life. And with the no expectations, it's beautiful because it's like you create the story, but then you detach from outcome completely. You're out, like, as far as waiting for it to show up a certain way. No, you're in the present moment. And that's where you are creating this story of abundance for yourself. And then you're letting go of how things appear, how you're expecting them to show up. I think that is what's putting you in that position of master creator, and just this energy of the magician that keeps coming up, and this energy of moving forward with your magic. And being present, again, too. Being present with your magic. And creating the story yourself. Something like that. So, I'm Gonna call it good from that deck. Next, I would like to pull from, let's do the angel number oracle. Okay, what does this group need to hear most right now? Oh. What is the best message for this group where they're currently at? Thank you. I have 1031 with passion. Ooh, okay. Okay, I would like to read about this. 1031 passion. It says, heads up, your life is happening, like right now. It's time to stop going through the motions and live with intention. Begin by adding something small but meaningful to each day. Consistency is key, even if it's only a few minutes at first. Anytime you devote your well-being is worth it. You're the only one who can take the action that brings you closer to the life you are dreaming of. True. And I think that's where the no expectations comes in too, because I think when you are passionate or like you care a lot, you have a lot of compassion about people, your life, like what you're building, it can be easy to kind of get future focused and not be so present with yourself. And just get too excited, and then so I think the message here is like come back to the present moment and create magic from the present, and see yourself as magical. I'm sure you already do, but this is just a reminder and some confirmation that to see yourself as magic, and that you are setting the seeds of intentions are everything. So that's why I always start these readings with intentions, because they are the seed to what is growing. So that's important right now for you to do with yourself, and it can look any little witchy way you want it to be looking, and just enjoy yourself more in the present and what you're creating. And it's so nice, like, not to be worried about expectations or what's coming from the seeds that you're planting. It's so much more fun to just like plant them and let it do its thing, just like a gardener, right? Like, besides like weeding, like you just like plant the seed and then you just like make sure the garden is doing, like, just keep up with the weeding of it. And you let it do its thing, you let nature do its thing. So they're saying you have this energy of the magician, again, that keeps coming up, where you have all of the elements to create. Your thing is just getting present enough with yourself, where your mind's not wandering so much to the past or the future, and you're really able to just have a potent creation from the present by being present with yourself and life and listening, and then also doing the action steps of setting intentions, which are they seem small and insignificant at the moment, but just like a seed, full potential for something to grow into a huge tree. That's what they're saying. That's the message with that. Okay. Oh my gosh. I can't believe we're almost at 30 minutes already. So then I'm going to end this message with the I Create My Reality deck. We'll get a message from here. What does this group need to hear most from this deck? What can we send them away with? Thank you. Yeah. Oh, I love this card. Says, I came to have fun. Yeah. It says, I came to play, I came to be free, I came to be fulfilled. Life is not a race or a competition. Better to think of it as a game. You are meant to play, to develop your skills, to enjoy the fun of encountering other players in pursuit of their own goals. Don't take things too seriously, and remember that in this game, setbacks are simply opportunities to learn how to play better. The whole point of playing this game is to enjoy it and play to the fullest. Come on, let's play. Life is fun. True beans. True beans. And that's where I think that, again, I keep hearing no expectations. I think maybe you've had some anxiety about how things are working out. Let go, and be more in that energy of joy, of play, of gratitude. That makes you a magnet to miracles, and it's our preferred state of being, really. And it's beautiful because that is the preferred state of life, and then we're bringing in the matching of that, because what we're putting out is what we're getting back always. That is a law. That is a universal law. So your game, the game of life, is really in the present moment, and it is creating from the wholeness of who you are. So don't take life so seriously. Tap more into that fun in the present moments and create with that element of silliness, of magical silliness that you possess. So that is your message in this mystery reading. Thank you guys for joining me. I hope you got some nourishment from this reading, and come on back whenever you need more nourishment. Again, these readings are timeless and they're here for you to access whenever. So have a great day, guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace, love, blessings. Bye.